Hey, you ever heard of that boy Zion?
Of course, I've heard of Zion. What kind of question is that?
Yeah, I'll tell you what, I like him.
Oh, yeah?
He's big and fast and round. He jumps real high, you know what I mean? I like that. I got a question I really need to ask you about that young man.
Okay.
Did he got a BBL?
Welcome to Basketball Intuition. I'm your host, Ethan Simon. Today we're going to be talking about the New Orleans Pelicans with their struggles, the awful record, the Zion stuff, Brandon Ingram, CJ McCollum, all that stuff. We'll get into it. But first, I kind of want to start with some trade ideas. The first person I want to talk about is Zion Williamson. Most of the Pelicans fans I have seen or spoken with, they all seem fed up with Zion. The thing about it is Zion is under contract until 2028, and he's going to be making $40 million until then. So really, the only option there is to keep him around and see what happens or trade him, and keeping him around so far hasn't really done you anything. And then this is the piece that kind of makes you just look at it from afar and be like, dang, what do they really do about this? It's Brandon Ingram. He's got a $40 million-ish, $35 million contract, and he's only on a one-year deal. He can walk after this season. Like, he can just go to another team. The Pelicans won't get a thing for him. But one thing that we do know is the Pelicans are $2.1 million over the luxury tax. So we should be expecting some kind of trade to take place, whether that's Brandon Ingram, CJ McCollum, Zion Williamson, Jordan Hawkins. I want to note CJ McCollum, that contract extension, when it kicks in next year, he's going to be making $31 million next year. That is a lot for like a 33-year-old CJ McCollum. He's still playing good, giving you 20 points per game, whatever. But I don't know, man. That's a lot of money for CJ McCollum. With the Jordan Hawkins $5 million contract annually, CJ McCollum, Brandon Ingram, Zion Williamson, all these guys, I think we can confidently say that a trade will happen in the next couple weeks, upcoming the February 6th deadline. So we don't really know what's going to happen next. It's up to the Pelicans front office, but I did bring a couple trades to the table that I want to show up on the screen, and we can talk about them real quick. So this is the first trade I want to look at real quick. It might not look the prettiest, but when it comes to getting Brandon Ingram off of the team, which is going to be, in my opinion, the most important part of this deadline, I know Pelicans fans probably won't want to hear it if you really want Zion off of the team, but it's more important to get Brandon Ingram off of the team this year than it is to get Zion off the team. He's under contract for a while. There is time to trade him. So I can't add picks into this, but picks, of course, would be involved in this trade. Tim Hardaway Jr. and Isaiah Stewart to make the contracts match. Isaiah Stewart's a young guy that can come in and actually play good for you now, and Tim Hardaway Jr. is an impactful NBA player to this day. He will be for a few more years until he gets older and maybe all washed up and whatever. But Isaiah Stewart is a promising young piece with a solid contract that could actually come and contribute to your team. I don't know what the Brandon Ingram market looks like right now, but this was just the first one that I wanted to peek at real quick and get y'all's thoughts on. I don't hate this trade. It's not bad. It works, but we'll get on to the next one. I'm sorry if it doesn't look great. It is what it is. This is probably a better trade for the New Orleans Pelicans. The Pistons would be more upset at making this happen, having to give up Ron Holland. But if you were to add that Ron Holland piece in there instead of Tim Hardaway Jr., it's probably a little push for the Pelicans to say, hey, here's a really young guy that has a lot of promise, that's shown us some things. So we'll just throw him in here instead of Tim Hardaway Jr. We'll take Brandon Ingram off your hands. Maybe we could throw you a second-round pick, maybe two of them, make it work. But I think this is probably the best trade that the Pistons can offer for Brandon Ingram. The next one, this one would be to the Memphis Grizzlies. This one's kind of just out of the blue a little bit. I thought this would be a really cool trade to make. But this one is Brandon Ingram for Marcus Smart and Luke Kennard. Luke Kennard is a guy who can come in, get you buckets for a little while. Marcus Smart is aging, and it's more for the contract, but he still can contribute for the Pelicans. But it's not really that pushing to say, hey, we could go get Ron Holland or Isaiah Stewart, but why would we take Marcus Smart and Luke Kennard instead? That would have to be picks. There would have to be multiple first-round picks probably for the New Orleans Pelicans to want to make this deal happen. I stand on what I said about it being more important to get Brandon Ingram off of the team, but I did go ahead and draw up a Zion trade. That trade looks like Keldon Johnson, Trey Jones, Malachi Branham. People have also looked at Zion and been like, hey, we could trade Jeremy Sohan for him. I think it's a terrible idea for the Spurs. I don't know why in the world they would trade Jeremy Sohan. So if they were trying to bring in Zion to put next to Wembanyama, this would probably be a deal to make it happen. Like I said, Keldon Johnson, Trey Jones, Malachi Branham, these are all three young guys that could do something for you in the future that can also contribute to you now. But I don't think this trade would happen this year. If this trade were to happen, it'd probably be in the future. Of course, these are all just ideas. Realistically, none of these trades will happen. They're just ideas for us to look at, cool things, whatever. So So now the next thing I want to look at is kind of more relating to the Zion Williamson stuff and what's happened with his career so far. I want to kind of attack the Pelicans staff real quick. First, let's start with Willie Green, okay? Willie Green isn't a bad NBA coach. He's 135 and 141 in his total record, barely negative by 16 games. I hate making a coach a scapegoat, and I don't think it's right. Like the Mike Brown stuff, that wasn't right. But Willie Green hasn't done anything for me to feel like there's a reason he should still be coaching this team after all of this stuff has been going on for a while. Zion's missing practices. He's late for practices. He's late for team meetings. He's late for shoot-arounds. He's late for flights. All these things are like absolutely ridiculous. The fact that Zion's like, 20, maybe 24 years old now? He's been in the league for 3, 4, 5 years at this point. The fact that these things are still going on, I can't fully blame Zion, and I have to put some of the blame on the New Orleans Pelicans staff for enabling him to keep acting like this. So in my opinion, let's get Willie Green out of here. If I was the Pelicans GM, Willie Green is gone. All right. Hey, Mike Brown, what's up with you, man? Mike Brown, you need a job? Yeah, he does. I don't see why not. What's the point of why not? What's the worst thing that could happen? Mike Brown's a better coach than Willie Green. Sorry, Pelicans fans, if you don't like to hear that. It's true. Mike Brown's a better coach. And the thing is like there are other teams that have had these injury issues, but have still been able to win games. The past 2 seasons, or 3 seasons now, baby, the Grizzlies have had ridiculously terrible injury luck, but they still have found a way to win games and make it into the playoffs. This Pelicans team, what's their record? They're the last seed in the Western Conference. They're 8-32 with all of that talent. Even when you are missing pieces, that's a deep team. Like, they're not Grizzlies deep, but they're deep enough to where you still have 2 all-star-ish caliber players and bench players. You should be able to win games still, and you're not. So, in my head, if you throw Taylor Jenkins on that team, it might not be 8-32. It might not even be 20-17 or anything like that. But they're at least up 15 games. I mean, it would have at least won 15 games by now, not 8. 8 is crazy. Why did we let Elfrid Payton walk? Probably some cap reason, but he was hooping. Elfrid Payton was straight hooping. So I could go on and on about this Pelicans staff. I think the Pelicans have done an awful job the past couple years. They got lucky getting Zion. Other than that, they haven't done a whole lot of great stuff. I think it is time for a change in the front office. I don't know what it is, if it's a GM, if it's the trainer, if it's the coach, assistant coach. I don't care what it is. It's time for change in the staff. And if you can't change the staff, it's time to ship Zion out. He needs to go to what's your name? Hold on, let me check. Whatever, it doesn't matter. Maybe it was you, Draco, maybe it wasn't. Somebody was saying that he needs to go on a team like the Miami Heat, who have a real culture, a Pat Riley who's not going to mess around with all the Zion Williamson gimmicks and stuff. You need a team with real culture. If that's what you got to do, if you can't get your own staff that can build a culture or your own players that can build a culture, you got to send Zion somewhere else. I'm kind of just going on and on, but I want to talk about a couple good things before we get out of here. Yves Missi looks great. He's going to block a shot every game. He's a big energy guy. 9 points, 8 rebounds, 55% from the field. It looks great. The Missi plus DeJounte pick and roll is probably my favorite part of the Pelicans team as a whole, and it's like the only reason I can enjoy watching them sometimes. And then the only other reason is Trey Murphy is like damn near the perfect NBA wing. He's an elite tier defender that plays defense every single night. 21 points, 5 rebounds, 3 assists, 45% from the field, 37% from 3 on 8.5 attempts. He's top 15 most attempts per game and top 20 and most makes per game from 3. CJ's playing solid. Shout out to Brandon Boston with the 5 PPG jump. So, big shout out to him coming from the Clippers. And then last thing real quick, my boy Antonio Reeves. If you know, you know. If you a Pelicans fan, you know. If you're a real NBA fan, you know. He ain't playing much right now, but when he do play, he gets buckets. I'm just saying, you watch out for that Antonio Reeves. See what happens. I'm going to wrap it up right here. I got all over the moon about this today. I was thinking about this for a while. I've been wanting to make this video. I was a little busy yesterday. Couldn't make it. Wanted to put it out yesterday. Whatever. If you're still here at the end, hit the like, man. Go ahead, hit the like. I'm a small channel. The like and the comment really does go a far way, whether you realize it or not. Like, it really does mean a lot. But yeah, I hope y'all enjoying yourselves. I hope you enjoyed the video. I'm gonna be here. I'm gonna be here later this week. You maybe see me on your shorts tomorrow. Maybe the next game. Maybe the next day. I don't know. We gonna see. I love y'all. I'm gonna see y'all in the next video. Thank you for 700 subscribers. We got that last night. Thank y'all so much. Yeah, that's all I got. I'm gonna see y'all in the next video, man. Peace out.